Jacko sponsors the National League on BT Sport.
Hello everybody, welcome along to our latest roundup from the Vanarama National League. Half an hour in which we'll try and bring you all the key incidents from the latest round of fixtures, and what a weekend it has been.
Tranmere leave Barrow stunned as Rovers rally at the death. Dover sink Lincoln at Sincil Bank. And Halifax break free of the drop zone. Holker Street finally fulfilled a league fixture for the first time since November. Barrow hosted Tranmere Rovers, their first home match in 6 weeks. Stand by for one of the games of the season in the National League. This was the first meeting between these two sides in Cumbria since 1969, and the first moment of drama came after 18 minutes. Neil Ashton was adjudged to have pulled down Tranmere's Steve Jennings. Referee Carl Evans awarding the penalty. Adam Meckie was poise personified as he slotted home for his third goal of the season. 1-0 Tranmere at half-time. Paul Cox's side responded after the interval as referee Evans again pointed to the spot. Jennings this time conceding the foul after a late challenge on Jason Walker. Penalty eventually to the home side. Walker dusted himself off to power the penalty past Scott Davis as tempers became frayed in this high-intensity match. The heat was rising, the score was level at 1-1. But not for long. Barrow have only won twice in the last 10 games, but goals haven't been a problem. Skipper Simon Grant straining his neck muscles to head his side in front with 8 minutes to play. And the hosts thought they'd put the game to bed on the counter-attack. Walker this time turning provider down the right wing. Top scorer Andy Cook was on hand to register his 14th of the campaign. 3 minutes of normal time left, 3-1 Barrow. What happened next was barely believable. Tranmere breathed new life into the game on 90 minutes as Louis Maynard's snapshot reduced the deficit to 3-2. And Rovers continued to rally. Just 60 seconds later, Davis long ball forward wasn't dealt with by Ashton. Jeff Hughes picked a great time to score his first league goal in 14 months. 3-3 with 91 minutes played. And the comeback of all comebacks was complete. In the 95th minute, 21-year-old Jake Kirby came on for just his second appearance of the season. With the aid of a crucial deflection, Kirby registered his first goal of the campaign. Pandemonium amongst the players and travelling support as 3 goals in 5 minutes turned a 3-1 loss into a 4-3 win. Delight for Tranmere's Gary Brabham, despair for his opposite number.
To throw the game away in 8 minutes, not just to draw it, but to lose it, I'm running out of words to actually describe it, but once again, I use the word, people are going to get sick of it, consistency, mindset. I'm going to keep mentioning it because it's that will ultimately build a squad that will take the club forward. So I'd like to think I'm annoyed, but I've gone past annoyed. I'm getting to the point now where I'm fuming. So yeah, it's going to be a tough weekend ahead.
Goals look to be guaranteed at Sincil Bank as well. Lincoln City were without a clean sheet in 7 matches. Dover Athletic hadn't kept out the opposition in 9 games. The hosts were also without a victory in 7, but started the stronger. Terry Hawkridge's corner was originally cleared, but his delivery was inch perfect second time around. Luke Waterfall stealing in at the back post. That's his 4th goal in 9 games. Sensational for a centre-half. But Dover are always difficult to defeat, and they were level before the break in fortuitous circumstances. Ricky Miller's shot fumbled in by Paul Farman. The Lincoln keeper certainly won't be happy to see that one again. Farman would have been a relieved man just 3 minutes into the second half. Lincoln's Liam Hearn has just returned to the club after a month on loan at Barrow. Hearn says he made the wrong decision to leave, and this was his second goal in 2 games since coming back. 10 in total for Lincoln this season. Then came the game's major talking point. Miller sliding the ball through for Ricky Modeste. Lee Beavers with the challenge. Penalty to Dover. Lincoln manager Chris Moyes felt the decision was soft and a game changer. The visitors given the chance to make it 2-2. No one in the National League has scored more penalties than Ricky Devedix this season. 5 from the spot for him now, 10 goals overall in the campaign. The hosts were agonisingly close to leading for a third time. Jack Muldoon this time with a cracking cross. Matt Reid producing a fine reflex save from Dover's Andy Rafferty. But the match winner was that man Miller. There didn't seem to be much danger when Dover's number 9 picked the ball up with his back to goal, but Miller somehow wriggled past 2 Lincoln defenders before firing past Farman from an improbable angle. 12 goals in this campaign for him. Chris Kinnear's team of part-timers continued to be the success story of the season so far.
We were behind 1-0 and got back in, behind 2-1 and got back in. It just shows you the character that every player gives that plays for Dover, and I'm pleased for them. It wasn't a classic game today. It was a little bit windy, but more than happy with us now. I don't know where we are in the league, but it keeps us up there. And probably another point, we won't get relegated. Well, like anything, I'm going to say, yes, it was a penalty, won't I? I mean, Ricky Modeste isn't someone who's going to dive over anyway. He said afterwards he thought it was a penalty, but again, without looking at the DVD, I can't say. But we don't dive over very often. I might jump up and down up on the bench and scream and shout, but our players usually get on with it.
Jim Harvey's Halifax have been in red-hot form since the Northern Irishman took over first-team affairs, unbeaten in 7 ahead of the trip to Moss Rose to face a Macclesfield team who'd suffered back-to-back home defeats. It was certainly easy to see who the form side was. A scintillating run from Halifax's Sean Tooten. Only goalkeeper Richie Brannigan could put an end to Tooten's hopes of breaking the deadlock as the danger was eventually cleared. Macclesfield had won consecutive away games, but home isn't a happy place for John Askey and his team right now. A delightful effort from Halifax's Kingsley James, inches away from finding Brannigan's goal. It was one-way traffic as the visitors continued to dictate the play. Brannigan beaten by Nicky Rowe's strike, but saved by the post. Halifax's first-half superiority continued to show, and yet they still couldn't hit the back of the net. Sam Walker's shot deflected over the bar. And when they did finally find a way through, they were denied by the offside flag. Tooten caught wandering beyond the last man as it somehow remained goalless at half-time. A breakthrough for Macclesfield would have been hard for Halifax to swallow. Their goalkeeper Sam Johnson finally tested by Danny Rowe after the break. And the visitors almost gave away a gift-wrapped goal as Johnson and Hamzah Ben Sharif collided, but Macclesfield couldn't make the most of the opportunity. But with 13 minutes to go, Halifax finally made their dominance count. Plenty of Football League clubs are looking at Tooten right now. James Pass allowing Tooten to make it 9 goals in his last 9 games. Another 3 points for Halifax, who under Harvey have risen from the foot of the table to leap out of the relegation zone.
Well, it's these boys, the way they're playing today, you know, you can see why they're gelling and they're working together as a unit now, but perhaps they weren't before. You know, they have an understanding of what's expected of them, and they're all contributing to the team effort, and that's coming together, and that's making us a stronger team to beat. And it's, you know, because we're defending better, it's allowing us a bit more possession when we're going forward.
Woking are right up there with Halifax at the top of the form table. 6 wins in the last 8 for Gary Hill's men as they began on the front foot at the racecourse ground. Kieran Murtaugh's strike after 13 minutes hitting the upright but deflected in off Wrexham goalkeeper Rhys Taylor. Referee Alan Young consulted with his assistant over a possible offside in the build-up. Goal given, 1-0 Woking. The lead lasted only 3 minutes. Wrexham have so often looked to top scorer Dominic Vose for inspiration, and that was certainly a moment of magic. 10 goals this season, Vose's first in 7 matches. Woking are without top scorer Dan Holman, who signed for league leaders Cheltenham earlier in the week, but the visitors weren't suffering from a goal shortage. John Goddard crossing for Joe Quigley, who put Woking back in front. 3 in his last 5 games for the man on loan from Bournemouth. Gary Mills's men needed a win, having lost 4 of their previous 5 prior to this match. He brought James Gray off the bench, who thought he'd found the equaliser. Gray's header hitting the side netting. But it was to be another great away day for the travelling support from Surrey. A bad afternoon for Taylor was complete with 7 minutes to go. His wayward pass went straight to Bruno Andrade. The former QPR man is no stranger to running with the ball, but goals for him have been harder to come by. That's just his 2nd of the season. It confirmed all 3 points for Woking, who are firmly in the playoff picture. 4 defeats in a row for Wrexham, their worst run for nearly 7 years.
Paul Hurst's Grimsby Town travelled to Parkview Road with 6 wins in an unbeaten last 7 games and looking to capitalise against a struggling Welling who'd won just 1 of their last 11. Grimsby started well as Craig Clay provided Omar Bogle with a chance on goal, but keeper Michael McInteggart kept the visitors at bay. And he was called into action again when Porrick Hammond latched onto a Bogle knock-on, but the Welling keeper was equal to the Irishman's shot. No goals in the first half, but Hammond has been in imperious form this season, and it was no surprise he was the man to open the scoring, latching on to a Richard Tate long ball, his looping header finally getting the better of the Welling keeper. Welling responded but were unable to level. This cross from Barney Williams and then a rare goof from the Grimsby goalkeeper James McEwen. Sar Cabba tried to bury it but missed before it was eventually hit, well, let's just call it well over, by Sam Corn. Grimsby responded, Bogle gliding through 2 Welling defenders before the ball eventually reached captain Craig Disley. His effort cleared, but Hammond was on hand to capitalise and bury his and his team's 2nd of the afternoon. 7 minutes later, a lofted ball from Andy Monkhouse found Hammond, and the striker headed home to complete a 13-minute hat-trick. He's now scored 14 in his last 11 games and 9 of Grimsby's last 10 goals. A game of pinball preceded the final goal, Danny East's ball bouncing off the arm of John Paul Pittman before Disley buried his 2nd goal of the season, having assisted twice in this game already. A great result for Grimsby, who keep up the pressure on the top 2. Hammond's hat-trick means he's now joint top league scorer with 20, along with Macclesfield's Christian Dennis.
It's great to score a hat-trick, you know, in any game, but especially when you win the clean sheet, and you know, it's been a great day all round for all of us. So yeah, pleased with the win. Me and Omar take the chances when they come, you know, because it's important that we do keep pressure on the teams that are just above us in the league, and you know that's really, really important at the minute, because we don't want them to get too far away from us. You know, and obviously we've cemented our place in the playoffs as well. So it's important to get the 3 points.
We obviously do need to turn things around, and we do need that first result, that first win. We've got faith in the boys. It is a confidence game. When your confidence is down, then you know things don't go your way. So it's a matter of just getting that first win, and then the confidence will lift, and the ability we've got in a change room, you know, it's undoubted. But it is a matter of confidence and belief at the moment, and yeah, we just need to keep going, and we have to keep believing, and we have to look towards Tuesday.
Chester won both fixtures against today's opponents last season. Aldershot were looking to end that run and secure only their 2nd victory in 12 matches. And it was the hosts who showed intent from the start. In the 12th minute, a Dan Walker corner saw Sean McGinty's shot rattle the crossbar. In the second half, a corner from Walker connected with the head of McGinty, which went in despite being parried away by keeper John Warsnup. That was the defender's first career goal in 47 appearances. A minute later, Charlie Walker crossed for striker Alfie Pavey to make it 2-0, scoring on his debut after joining Aldershot from Millwall on Friday. Chester did gain a lifeline with 12 minutes to go. John Rooney with a rocket that left keeper Phil Smith with no chance. But the game was put to bed in the 89th minute when this ball from Reece Brown set up Jim Stevenson to score his 4th goal of the season. Calm as you like. Aldershot hadn't scored more than twice in a game since September, so plenty of positives for Barry Smith's side as they leapfrog Chester to 15th in the table.
The first ever league fixture between these two. Their only other meeting came in the FA Cup's second round back in 1997 when Cheltenham claimed a 2-0 victory. This time around it was Boreham Wood who had a great early chance to open the scoring, but this Connor Clifford cross saw Jordan Chidozie fail to convert. It was then Cheltenham on the attack as Billy Waters fired a shot towards goal, but keeper James Russell kept the visitors from breaking the deadlock. And in the second half, Cheltenham continued to threaten. Towering Harry Pell came tumbling down, but play continued, allowing substitute Jack Munns a chance, but it went agonisingly wide. The visiting fans thought they'd taken the lead when Waters came out of nowhere to fire the ball towards goal, only to have hit the side netting. And then this Pell free kick tested keeper Russell, who did well to parry. It was chance after chance, this corner leading to another wasted attempt by Waters. All Cheltenham, but Boreham Wood did come back to life when Ricky Shakes was allowed through on goal, only for his effort to hit the crossbar. And Clovis Camjo had a fantastic opportunity, but when his shot ricocheted off defender George McClellan, keeper Dylan Phillips did well to keep it out. One final chance came when Cheltenham's Asa Hall was denied by keeper Russell. A frustrating game for both sets of fans, but Cheltenham go 5 points clear at the top after Forest Green Rovers game was postponed.
Southport came into this game on a run of 6 successive wins, and their last league encounter with Bromley saw them 5-3 winners. So could we expect another 8-goal thriller? It was the home side who threatened first. Their top scorer Moses Emmanuel tested the gloves of goalkeeper Max Crocombe from range. Lewis Almond has scored 6 times in his last 6 games for Southport, but his finishing touch deserted him as keeper Alan Julian denied the striker. With the game desperate for a goal, Emmanuel tried his luck again and Crocombe almost made a hash of it, parrying the ball onto onrushing Bromley players. He eventually cleared. At the other end, Julian showed his worth between the sticks throughout the game, blocking shots like this one from Almond. And in the second half, a fantastic diving save kept out Paul Rutherford. Again, Julian was called into action, this time denying Jamie Allen to keep the scoreline level. The ball did eventually hit the back of the net. Emmanuel supplied substitute Alex Wall, who blasted past Crocombe, only for the goal to be chopped off for offside. A draw that leaves Southport unbeaten in 7 matches, whereas Bromley are now without a win in 5 home games.
So, Cheltenham's draw means they extend their lead at the top. They're now 5 points ahead of closest rivals Forest Green after their match against Guiseley was postponed. Dover overtake Eastleigh in 4th place as Chris Todd's men flew the National League flag in the FA Cup, narrowly missing out on a famous win against Bolton. And Tranmere's last-minute victory means it's now 3 wins out of 4 for them. They're now only 5 points off the playoff places. The big story at the bottom is Halifax breaking free of the relegation zone after their shock victory at Macclesfield. They're now 8 games unbeaten under Jim Harvey's stewardship, an impressive turnaround for a club who've changed their manager twice this season. But alarm bells for Altrincham. They drop into the bottom 4 with Welling, Torquay and Kidderminster, though they do have games in hand. Just before we go, don't forget, Sunday the 24th of January, we'll bring you Dover Athletic against league leaders Cheltenham Town, exclusively live from 11:45 on BT Sport 1.
That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Jacko sponsors the National League on BT Sport.